Hi, my name is Ryan Kennedy. I'm a gym owner. I own a private training facility for both adults and athletes in Western Mass. I've been open about a year, and through the year, I've been really trying to figure out how to save time and not like do tasks over and over again. So I've been learning a lot about automation. I've been learning a lot about how to set up backend systems so you don't have to do things as often and things don't get messed up. And what I'm doing is rebuilding some of my backend in a way that makes more sense to me that I've learned a lot. So I'm really just documenting how to build it for any type of gym owner or any type of personal trainer or coach or something like that that's really interested in keeping all of their data, keeping it clean, and being able to use it maybe for AI in the future and being able to actually make sense of what you have contextually as a coach rather than having AI make up random stuff about it. So what I'm doing is I'm creating like a backend data center, for lack of a better word, and we're starting with the client roster. And why we start with the client roster is because when you have a bunch of different people, you want to be able to have them be unique identities that don't get differentiated between sheets. So, say you have somebody that uses a short name, so Steve or Steven, and you want to make sure that that name stays the same across all your sheets so that when you look up Steve, they show up in the right place with all the data that exists, whether that be from 6 months ago or 2 years ago or last week. So we're looking to make it a solidified place for all of the clients. And how we're going to do that is we're going to take our normal sheet, normal Google Sheet workbook, and this is going to house all of our like data. So this sheet is just going to be the clients. Another sheet may be the weights. Another sheet may be conditioning. Another sheet may be programs, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to make videos alongside of each one that I'm doing. So the first one for clients, we're going to rename this to our client roster at the bottom here. And then we're going to create headers. So you want to make sure that the sheet knows what is going in each column. So we're going to have the name, we're going to have the date of birth so we can get the age right. We're going to have the population. If you work with different populations, you can keep this separate if you don't. And we're going to have the sex, and I like to have the age so it can reference things later. I'm going to take all these, drag it across. I'm going to Control B and bold them. I like having headers be a different color from the rest of the sheet as well. And I'm going to center them just visually. So now I might expand this a little bit just so I can see all the names. It doesn't have anything to do with the data. It doesn't matter if the name's really long and it fits in there. You just can't see it. I just like to be able to see everything when I'm making it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in our first client. So we're going to put in myself, Ryan Kennedy, the date of birth. We're going to put here and click on B. And then we're going to press Control. We're going to click on the date of birth so it doesn't select that, but it keeps going all the way down selected. From here, we'll click on data. I'm sorry, we'll click on format and we'll go to number, date. And what this does is it always makes sure that when you input a date, it goes in the exact same formatting. And when you're using AI or automations or anything like that, data needs to be the same way across the board every time that it gets input. And sometimes as humans, we don't input it correctly. So for example, if I put in January 1st of 1990, I can put it in like this and it's going to auto correct to put it in as normal. But I could also put in January 1st, 1990, and it's going to auto correct it back into the formatting that we had before. As well as if somebody puts 0101 1990, it's going to correct. So that's why we want to make sure that this is set to date so that it just stays the same across the board. If I've learned anything in the past year, it's that you want to make sure everything stays the same no matter where it is. If it's named something somewhere else, it better be named that same exact thing in the new place or the new sheet that you're making or the new automation, whatever it may be. Now, if you work with different populations, I do. We work with athletes and we work with adults. And you could specify this as much as you want to. I like to keep it simple. So we're going to go in here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to click on the C column. We're going to control click on population to get rid of that. From here, we're going to go to data validation, and we're going to data validation right here. On the right side of your screen, you're going to have add rule. From here, you're going to see that it is selected with drop downs. You're going to have options available. So for my first one, I'm just going to type in adult. For my second one, I'm going to type in athlete. You have the ability to add your own colors in here if you'd like to see them color coded. Doesn't matter for my case. You can also allow multiple selections. Say that you have somebody that crosses over in different populations. That may be what you want to do. Or if you want to make sure that every client has to be either an adult or an athlete, then don't select them. For my case, we have some clients that border in both groups in the sense of some of our endurance athletes that are older, they're adults and they're really good at their endurance sports, marathon, cycling, triathlon, stuff like that. But they also participate in the adult program. Sometimes I like to cross over a little bit and do both. So we're going to allow multiple selections here. Drop down is what we want. And then we're going to press done here. And then from here, we're going to be able to select adult or athlete. So this is going to deny you from doing anything else other than adult and athlete. You can't type in this. If you try to type in it and you put something else in there like rehab, you're not going to be able to use it. It's not going to do anything, which is good. We want to make sure that it doesn't do anything except for adult and athlete, spelled the same way, so on and so forth. So from there, we're going to do the same exact thing in the sex category. Add a rule. We selected the D column. We control clicked on sex to take that that cell out. And we're going to do the same thing. Male and female. And you may wonder why we put this in. Because I'm interested in long term being able to compare data. So say I want to compare all females from the ages of 24 to 30 on a goblet swap compared to all males from 24 to 30 and just see the difference and be able to actually be specific enough about the data that I have with the individuals that I have. That's why we're putting this in here. So from here, for me, looks like male. And now we're going to get to age. So there is a formula that we can use in order to take the date of birth right here and output the correct age according to today, which is what I'm going to do here. So I have this already set up on the side. So we're going to put it in the function box up here. It's going to be an if statement. And then it's a formula after that. It's associating to B2 right here. And then basically just saying, what is today? And then going backwards from there and outputting the age. Okay. So 1990, I would be 36 at this time of 2026. So from here, in order to get this down our rows, we're going to click on the small circle after clicking on the cell down here, and then we're going to drag down. And you can pull it to the bottom of the page, and it'll go all the way down. I believe there is a command for this. I don't know it, because I only have to do this once, so I don't really pay attention to some of these commands. So pull it all the way to the bottom, and then we're going to leave it. And then from there, we'll scroll back up. My camera's in the way of the wheel. And now it's gonna, when you drag it down, it shifts the row down with it. So it assumes that we're gonna stay in the B column, but it's gonna go down to B3, which is this one, B4, and so on and so forth, so it matches the appropriate date. So we can put in some other fake people. We'll say this one is July 17th in 2003, 22 years old. They're going to be an adult for us, male. And maybe we have a female here. And we'll put in a younger birth date. We'll call this one of our athletes. We'll do August 21st in 2010. So 15 years old. We're going to call him an athlete, female. So this here is really all you have to do for the actual client roster or client sheet, athlete sheet, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. the last thing that you should do is you want to create a named range. So what that means is you're going to select a column, and then you're going to, again, unselect this. We're going to go to data. We're going to go to name ranges and pop it on the right side here. The point of a named range is that it takes all the selected cells and it creates a overarching name for the selected cells. So for this, we're going to say client roster. We're going to keep it one word just to make it easier. And then press done. So now what we can do later on in other sheets is we can take the client roster as the name and we can say equals this range, client roster. When we do that, it will automatically take everything in this cell range from A2 all the way down to the bottom of the sheet and have that be populated in there. So I'm going to show you what I mean, just so it makes more sense. We're going to go to data validation here, and we're going to add one more rule in this empty cell. It doesn't matter. We're going to remove it afterwards. We're going to say drop down from a range. So then all we're going to do, I forget if it's, I think it's equal client roster. Yes, it is. So equal client roster, because we named this thing exists now. It's kind of like in coding when you define a variable. Client roster exists as an independent thing, and then it's going to output in this range or this drop down all the possible things that are in the client roster. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So we're going to press done. I'm going to move this out to the side. So right now I can select any of the names right now. If I were to change this, so let's say I'm adding another one, Joe Tool. If I add Joe Tool, it pops up in the list. I don't have to update things all the time in different sheets. So what this sheet becomes is my doctrine of this is all of my clients. I put all of my clients into this place, and I don't have to change anything anywhere else because everything references the client roster and range or something else that is referenced to that. That lets you not have to input things in multiple places all the time, and also limits you from having to forget when you put somebody in the roster, but you didn't put them in the eval sheet, you didn't put them in the assessment, and then we go to print out something, it doesn't work. Like all these things can help you make less mistakes and have to think less over time, have less like operating procedures and things like that. We can also automate this further in the future, which is something I'd like to do, is using the type of like automation softwares like Zapier and Make and DATEDIF to where you there's like someone enters your system somewhere manually or automatically, whether it be in your CRM or whether it may be manually in a sheet. And then once that gets input through a webhook, if it's a CRM, through you manually entering a new row in a sheet like here, and then what N8N or Zapier does or Make does is it will then take that trigger, put them in here with the right information that you have given, and you don't have to think about it again. That's something that I will probably do to make sure that I don't miss people, because that has happened before and I've forgotten to put somebody in here and I go to put in weights or print somebody out and it's not there. So that is the client roster. And from the client roster, we would then start making other sheets for data input based on our needs or our programming software or what have you, whatever you use. But for today, that's it. So thanks for watching. I will put the formula in the description underneath the video just so people have it if they need it. I will also maybe put these in a shareable place if you guys are interested in having those. So thanks for watching. Hopefully it's helpful. This stuff will make your life much easier once you actually like make it, but it takes a minute to make, but it is super valuable. So again, thanks for watching. See you next time.